What is up, guys? It is Also Dope, and I'm back for another video. So this video is going to be completely different than anything on this channel, right? So today is going to be my first story time. Yay! So as y'all can see by the title, it's not a pretty one. This story time is 100% real. And we're just gonna say it. This story time is about the time I almost slapped my manager, because I did almost get to that point. So let me just take you guys, let me just do the backstory before we dive too deep into what happened, because I want you guys to follow me, you know? There was a point in time where I absolutely loved my job at Hooters. Like, it was my life. I was there all the time. There would even be weeks where I would pull like overtime, like as much as they would allow me to work, or if they needed extra help, I was like, yes, I'll work it. I don't care if I work a double. I was like on a money mission, honey. So there was just a point in time where I just loved my job so much. I really thought that I was going to be there for a lot longer than I did. And I really feel like that if this situation amongst other variables, like a couple variables did not take place, I probably would still be there, not full time, but probably like on the side, which is why I said that I would still work there. In my last video, I said that I would work there again, just not full time. It would be more like a 1 day or 2 day type of thing out of the week. I can't do no more than that, unless things are different than they were, but I'm pretty sure it's not. But so like I said, I loved it so much. Then I just got to a point where it began to feel like a chore. Like, work at Hooters was fun. There was like, I had my friends, you know, the girls who I were really close with, which wasn't many. I was cool with pretty much everybody. There wasn't really anybody who I just like, well, there was a couple girls who I just could not stand. Like, oh my God, like I could not stand working with them. I could not stand them like bartending when I was working, or them serving when I was working, or hosting, whatever the case. Like, there was a couple people. Now mind you, there was a lot of people that came and went during my 3 years. That's a long time, and we seen hundreds of girls come in and out. The rate that they hire and like girls leave, they like, it's so like, the turnover rate is so high. So you do meet a lot of girls. Not a lot of girls stay for a long time. So during my time there, I did see a lot of girls leave, and a lot of girls come and stay longer than me. Some stayed longer than me, and some are still there that started after I did. At least I know of like one girl that started after me, and she's still there. Honey, I don't know how she's doing it, but actually there's 2 girls who I know that started after me that's still working there, that started around the same time I did. But anyway, the kitchen was terrible. Like, let me tell y'all, the kitchen, like, there was a select few people in there who I was like, okay, who's in the kitchen? Blah, 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 XYZ, whatever. Great. I'm gonna have a good shift. My orders are gonna come out right. They're gonna come out on time. They're gonna be on point, right? The sucky part about that is that most of those people who I had that type of faith and confidence in worked in the morning, or they only worked on certain days. So when it was a busy night, or it was just a night that so-and-so and them didn't work, we was pretty much screwed. So there will be times when I would order food, and these curls are killing me. Like, appetizers coming out after entrees, stuff coming out wrong, like completely different than what you put on the ticket. Like, I'm talking like, I ring in, like, I don't know, I ring in 20 and you only give me 10. Like, stuff like that was happening. People didn't care. There was a lot of high school kids they had hired and nobody really took it serious. It was like a game. It was just like, oh, I work at Hooters, like whatever, I'm just here for the girls, like type of thing. I feel like that was a lot of their mentality, and it kind of really messed up our money a lot of times. And that was one of the things that was really like getting to me, was like, bro, like I'm out here, I'm the one that these customers are seeing. So when stuff is coming out wrong or it's not coming out right, they're looking at me like, okay, the common denominator between me getting my food is you, because you're the one taking my order, you're the one putting it in, you're the one bringing it to me. So if it comes out wrong, it's your fault. And a lot of people have that mentality, and sometimes it is the service fault. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes people do make mistakes. Anybody who's a server knows that there are nights when you are messing up, like you just not getting it right. And that happens a lot of times. Even if you've been serving for a while, I remember a lot of times when I made mistakes on stuff, and all you can do is apologize and try to fix it. But a lot of times it is not the server's fault. More oftentimes than not, it's not the server's fault. It's something else going on, like something in the kitchen or whatever. Or somebody else running the wrong thing, because that's happened to me before too, where somebody took my order and left theirs up there, and now I gotta wait for a new order because they've already taken my stuff to another table or something like that. But anyway, for me, it was just the kitchen. It was out of control, and it was starting to affect our money because people were like blaming it on us. Like, a lot of people would be like, oh, I understand, like I work in this industry, blah blah blah, but a lot of people didn't, because a lot of people didn't know what goes on. And then like the clientele, I'm not gonna get too deep into that because I don't want to come off as like I'm being stereotypical or whatever, but let's just say that, you know what, whatever. So one thing was, we would get a lot of high school kids too. A lot of people know that a lot of high school kids, a lot of college kids, they don't tip. So we were getting those, and we were getting certain people of all races, black, white, Mexican, whatever you want to call it, whatever PC term you want to use, will come in and not tip. And we weren't really making that much money. So kind of my regulars was keeping me afloat at a certain point. The people who would come in, like I had two guys that would come in, and I would just talk to them, and they would give me, one of them would give me $50 or $100. Me and my best friend Mariana, shout out to you, boo. I met her at Hooters. We like this now. Even we both still don't work there anymore. We worked at Hooters and Twin Peaks together, and another bar together. And they would give us money every time they came in, like stuff like that. And other people that came to see me would keep me like making a decent amount of money. But it just got to the point where it was just so bad, like the money, the kitchen, among so many other things. But anyway, so at that time I was like, okay, I'm not really making enough money. I'm working all these hours. I'm only getting paid $4.95, so my hourly checks aren't amounting to much. Everybody's struggling and fighting over shifts. So I need to figure out what I'm gonna do to make some money, because I had a car, I had bills to pay. So I'm like, all right, this ain't really working for me. So I had went and I had got a job at Twin Peaks. I started working at Twin Peaks, and I was making bank. I was making double what I made at Hooters. There was days when I was walking out with $350 in cash or $250 in cash, for what I felt like wasn't that much work. Some nights I did get worked, but we're gonna get there in that story time. We're gonna get there, just wait on it. I was working at Hooters and Twin Peaks at the same time. I know they're supposed to be like rivals or something, but I was working at both, honey. I don't care about no rivalry. I don't care about no competition. I wanted to collect my coins. So I freaking worked at both for a short period of time. My manager, who I was really cool with, who I had known growing up, he was just like, he noticed like that I wasn't like myself, and that I was being really drained, because it's like when other people aren't doing their job, it makes other people's job even harder. So he noticed that, you know, and he just pulled me to the side one day, and he was like, you know, I know you have a second job. If you need a break from here, If you feel like you're getting burnt out from here, let me know, and I will schedule you once a week, or I will give you a week off. Just let me know what you need, because I want you here. Like, I'm telling y'all, and this is no gas, this is no cap, and anybody can attest to this who worked there when I worked there. I was literally top 5 servers. Top 5. Top 5, and I'm not 5. Top 5, and I'm not 5. Like, once I was working there and I knew what I was doing, I was good. Like, I was the type of server that could handle 9 tables or 7 tables or 8 tables or being triple sat, or like literally, like. And there was one night where me and my two of my best friends, it was only us 3 working. A bunch of people called off and we had to run the whole restaurant. But that's another story time. So yeah, I was one of those servers that I could handle a lot of like pressure. When it was busy, I worked well under pressure. When it's busy, I'm in the zone. I'm getting stuff done. The time is passing by. I'm having fun, whatever, right? He wanted me to stay. He didn't want to lose me because I was one of the strongest servers that they had. Servers and bartenders, and I knew how to do everything. So it's like, who wants to lose someone who knows what they're doing, doesn't complain, comes in with a good attitude, never talks back and gives attitude? Like, I was one of those type of because we had a lot of girls that complained about every single thing, and it was so annoying, but I wasn't one of those people. So he didn't want to lose me, so he was just basically like, if you need time, just let me know. So I told him, like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna need a little break. So I was working like 1 or 2 shifts. Then it went to me just completely not working at all. I was still employed, because there was a certain amount of time that you had to not work before you had to like get rehired and stuff like that. So I made sure I stayed within that bracket. But it did get to the point where I was not working there. I was strictly at Twin Peaks. A situation happened at my Twin Peaks where I got into a bit of a situation with my manager, kind of like an argument, and I wound up leaving, and I was like, okay, great, I'm about to go on vacation. I'm gonna tell that story time too. That's a Twin Peaks story time. I have so many story times, y'all. I'm telling y'all. I'm gonna have to suck up my pride, and I'm gonna have to pick up a bunch of shifts just so I can make like a couple dollars, you know, $100 before I leave. So I picked up like 4 shifts, I think, right? I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? Why am I going back here? I'm like, I really should just not go back, or I should just wait until it's time for me to really go back so I can keep my job, you know, just in case, because it was like my security blanket kind of at this point. It was just like there in case I needed money or extra money, or in case something was to happen with one of my other jobs, which it did, which I wanted to be prepared. So I never like really formally quit. I just took a break, kind of. I had to humble myself, like, okay, I know I just left this job where I was making all of this money, and I was just so on this, I was just on this wave, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm like, back at square one, right? I pick up 4 shifts. I go to work, right? First day I go, cool. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I didn't miss this for real. I'm like, literally now I see why I left. Like, it was just a bold reminder, slap in the face, like, this is why you left. Why are you here? But you're here because you have to be. So I said, okay, cool. I come in for my shift the next day. I'm like, oh my God, bro, I cannot do this. Like, I can't. So the 3rd day comes. Now, mind you, I said I picked up 4 shifts. This was my 3rd day. So I had one more day before I went. I had one more day to work before I went on vacation. That day, after that last day that I was supposed to work, that 4th and final day, I left for LA. Because I was going to LA for 2 of my best friends' birthday. So that was why I was working to get the money, to get me some spending money. I had already got my plane ticket. One of my regulars bought my plane ticket for me, believe it or not. So I was just getting my spending money because we had already paid for our Airbnb. So I was just basically getting like spending money to spend while I was down there. So I came into work. I was late for work, for one, because I lived by a train at the time, and it was just my luck that the train with the freight train, not a regular, not a metro, a freight train. Y'all know how long freight trains be sometimes. So sometimes when I would leave out, there would be a train and it would take like 10 minutes or however many minutes to pass. Now I only live like 10 minutes in the car from where I worked, from my Hooters, but there was a bunch of lights, and if it was traffic, you had to leave out a little bit early. But sometimes I would still get caught by this freight train and it would make me late. I do remember that I was late, and I'm pretty sure that's the reason why I didn't get a chance to eat before I left the house, because I was getting ready for work. I was doing my hair and makeup because I wasn't gonna have time to do it when I got there. And when it was super busy, like if I was like working on the weekend and I was like working at night, if I was closing or whatever, I wouldn't go to work and do my makeup. Like in the morning sometimes I would, and like on a weekday sometimes I would, but I would not really go like on a Friday night when it was like shift change, because it's 50 girls working already. It's so much stuff everywhere, all over the break room. No. So I made sure I got ready when I was at home. Like a lot of times I was just like fully prepared. All I had to do was like take off whatever clothes I had on over my uniform, because we have to cover our uniforms. I get to work, I'm already mad because I didn't get a chance to eat anything and I'm late. Two things. I hate being late because I feel like I'm rushing. I feel like everybody's waiting for me and blah, blah, blah. So I'm late. I get a section that I did not want, and I was like closing that night. So I'm like, okay, great. I'm in a bad mood. I haven't ate. Now I have to try to find some time to eat throughout the day or whatever. I was just over it. I was annoyed. But I still came in with, I wasn't giving people attitude and stuff. I was like, cool. So the section, we had sections like, we had sections that were already like chosen. And if you had worked there for a minute, you pretty much know what tables go in what section. But recently, around this time, like I said, I hadn't been working there. I hadn't been like back working there for that long, and while I was gone they had changed like some of the tables in the sections, so some of the tables were a little bit different than what I personally remembered. So I'm getting there, I finally get out to the floor, and the host is like, I'm like talking to the host and stuff, I'm looking around, there's nobody in my section, right? So there's this table, they're sitting there or whatever. They're sitting there for a couple minutes. Now I'm not paying attention. I'm doing other stuff. I'm taking care of other stuff or whatever. I'm like trying to make sure I'm ready for when I get my first table. So this table was sitting there maybe like, I want to say like 2 or 3 minutes. They were looking at the menus, blah blah blah. So they kind of got this look on their face like, okay, like we're ready to order. They started looking around. So one of the managers is like whose table is that? And the host was like, oh, TK, like that's your table. And I'm like, what? No, it's not. She's like, yeah, that's your table. Like they changed the tables. And I'm like, what? So I'm on my way. I'm walking to the table. Now this is where the BS begins. Right here. So I'm walking, I'm like, oh, okay, like let me go greet them and stuff. Now mind you, they were only sitting there for a couple minutes, and the first, like the duration of the time that they were sitting there, they were looking at the menus. So right when I was walking up is when they were looking around to see like who their server was. And you know, I was fully prepared to explain to them like, hey, I just got here. I didn't know that you guys were in my section until now. Sorry about the wait. Like, I can go ahead and take your order and get you started, blah, 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 right? So I'm walking up to the table, and there was a lady there. I'm going to name her Kelly. I don't know. So Kelly was a former Hooters girl. She claimed she had been a Hooters girl for 10 years, which I don't think it was that long, but that's what she said. She was there training, shadowing under one of my managers, under my general manager, because that's who was there that night. My general manager, she was training under him to be a manager, right? And that's not uncommon at all for Hooters girls to move up to management positions or whatever after being a Hooters girl, right? So Kelly decides that she wants to intercept me like this is football, right? So I'm walking up to the table and she literally walks right in front of me. Like, I'm on my way to the table. Like, this is the table. I'm on my way walking to the table and she literally, whoop, hi, so sorry about that. Wait, can I get you guys started with anything to drink, blah, blah, blah. So I walk up behind her and I'm like, hi, how are you guys? And I looked at her and I said, I got it from here. Like, thank you, I got it. And she's like, no. She's like, I'll take their order. She's like, I'll take their order. I got it. Or she said something along those lines, like, no, like, I got it. And I'm just looking at her. I was just like, it kind of like threw me, like, it caught me off guard for a second. I kind of was like, I kind of did like that. And I walked away, right? So now I'm like, I'm ticked off now already, because don't tell me that, no, I got it. And it's my table, bro. I'm here now. Move. Go do your little manager stuff. I got this. Like, stop trying to micromanage. Like, I understand that you're trying to help the situation, but the way that you're going about it is not right, especially from a manager's position. So mind you, I forgot to say that my general manager came and was like, whose table is that? Whose table is that? So, like, making it a way bigger scene than it had to be. Like, they were waiting for like 10 minutes or whatever, right? So, like I said, she intercepted me. She takes the order, right? She goes over to the screen and she starts punching in like the order or whatever. So I walk up to her and I'm like, so she was like, well, I already took their order. You can get their drinks. They're having this and this. And I looked at her and I looked at her again and I was like, so I'm like, well, you know what? I'm gonna just chill. I'm like, in my head, the angel on my shoulder was like, just relax, it's okay. She's trying to be like a over the top manager because she wants the general managers to see that she's on it or whatever. So I'm like, that was my angel. Now my devil was like, slap her right now. Just slap her right now. You already want to leave, just do it. Just slap all her teeth right out her mouth. But I, being a child of God, did not put my hands on her at that moment, right? So I said, you know what? I'm gonna grab the drinks for this table. I took it to them. I said, here you guys are. I'm so sorry for that wait. Everything should be out shortly. So I go up to her and I'm like, so what did they order? She was like, well, I took their order already, but here's the ticket. You need to look at it to make sure everything comes out right. So I'm looking at her like, does she not know who I am? Does she not know that I've been working here for almost 3 years?
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Who are you talking to, bro? I'm not a new girl. Don't talk to me like I don't know what I'm doing. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what my job is. I'm fully capable of doing it. But you wouldn't let me because you're too busy trying to be a teacher's pet. So I'm like, I look at her again and I'm like, so then she yells to the kitchen,
everybody, make sure this order comes out super fast because they've been waiting here for a very long time and their order was not put in. So please prioritize this order in front of everybody else's.
So now you're trying to really make it seem like there's an issue, because when I went up to the table, it was a couple. They were so nice. They were like, no, like, it's no problem. Like, we were just looking at the menu anyway. We just wanted to know who our server was. So for like when we were ready to order, we would know, you know, who our server was. And I'm like, okay, like, yeah, I'm sorry. They like switched our tables and stuff. I explained it to them. And they were like, no, like, you're completely fine. Like, it's cool. Like, this is no big deal at all. So I'm like, okay. So the fact that they're not even feeling a way about it, you need to calm down, because you're at a 10, you need to bring it down to a 2. They was like, we weren't even waiting for long, right? We're good. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm already rubbed the wrong way by all of that stuff that she just did, because I felt like she did too much. So I'm telling my friends at the bar, I'm like, yeah, like, I'm not really feeling her. I'm like, because she keep getting in my way and I'm trying to do my job. And by her overdoing it, she's making it seem like to them that I'm not doing my job right, or that it's something really seriously, like, critically wrong, when they were saying that they were not mad. They were not upset. Like, they literally were looking at the menu the entire time and they said that they were fine. They were just looking around because they wanted to know who their server was. But they said that they hadn't been looking around. They hadn't been waiting there for long. They were there for a couple minutes. Their food comes up. I go over there to get their food. She takes their food for me.
So you want to get sinned? Oh, so you want to get sinned?
No.
You want to get sinned?
I'm like, bro, okay, at this point, why am I here if you finna do my job for me? Why am I here? I might as well go home. I might as well go sit in the back and do something. I might as well go be on my phone or go do something, because every time I try to do something, you're continuously getting in my way. So now you must want to fight, because you're getting in my way. You're making me look bad because you keep getting in my way. You're making it look like I don't know how to do my job. I'm very capable of doing my job because I work here, and I'm not understanding why it is that you're steady getting in my way. So at this point, I am like, bro, I'm this close to slapping the taste out of her mouth. Like, seriously.
You better back the fuck up out my face, goddammit.
So I go check on them, right? I'm like, how's everything taste? Are you guys good? Do you guys need anything? Blah, blah, blah. They're like, yeah, we're good, we're good. Everything's great. So I leave from checking on them. She walks up right behind me to check on them.
Are you guys doing okay? How's everything? Is everything good?
I'm like, bro, stop going to my table. The minute that I walked to the table, you should have moved. They're not your responsibility. They're mine. This is my table. I appreciate you for trying to check on them or whatever, but you literally seen me walking. You literally tried to speed race walk and beat me to the table. And now you're sitting up here micromanaging me and checking on them every time I check on them. Now you're making them, now when you go to a table too many times, people start to get irritated. So now you're doing too much, bro. Now, at this point, I'm heated now because I'm like, bro, why are you getting in my way? So I'm like ready to put my hair up in a ponytail. I'm ready to fight her. Like, because I'm like, bro, I literally go to the back. I'm talking to one of my really close friends who was working in the kitchen. I'm going off. I'm cursing, everything, because I'm literally mad. Like, how would y'all feel if you were doing your job and somebody was, after everything you did, somebody was doing the same thing, or somebody was making it seem like you weren't doing your job, or something like I was already annoyed. I told you I was already irritated. I could see if there was an issue or if there was a problem with the table, but they were literally fine. They said they were like, oh, we weren't waiting for long. We were looking at the menu the entire time. My friends was telling me, like, both of them, they were telling me, like, T, you need to calm down. Like, you up here, you going ham. You gotta calm down. And literally everybody who was seeing what was going on, they were like, yeah, why is she doing that? Like, you're not wrong. Like, I would be annoyed too. Like, even the other girls was like getting annoyed. They was like, why is she doing too much? Like, what? Finally she stopped going up to them. I closed them out and stuff. They tipped me. Everything was cool. So for the rest of that night, I was on it. I made sure I got to my tables on time, because I'm like, the next time that she walks up to one of my tables, I'm punching her in her mouth, and I don't care.
You know what you did, Shay?
Y'all can fire me, y'all can call the police, I don't care, but I'm going to punch her in her mouth the next time she gets in my way. I don't need your help. Like, really, after that, she was like rushing to clean off my tables and stuff, and I'm just like, she's like, do you need help? I'm like, no, I got it. And she was still trying to like clean off my tables and stuff like that. So I'm like, bro, I'm over her. Like, I'm really finna slap her. Like, I'm really about to slap her. Like, and she was doing it. She wasn't doing it in like, I know y'all probably be like, well, she was trying to help you and blah, blah, blah. No, she was doing it like pissy. Like, in the beginning, like with all the stuff with the table, like she was giving me attitude. And then she was trying to be nice after that. No. Keep that same energy. You start off with an attitude with me, keep that attitude so I can slap you. I want you to do that. Because you're not a manager, you're a manager in training. So you and I right now, we equal. At the end of the day, we bleed the same. I'm going to slap you. I'm probably going to regret it because I'm going to go to jail. But in that moment, I'm going to feel great. And if there was no consequences as far as me getting locked up, I would have smacked her 10 times, probably 20, because that's how much she annoyed me. My manager talked to me. He was like, so what happened with that table? And I told him, I was like, they literally were fine. I didn't know that the table numbers had switched. I didn't bother looking at the floor plan because I thought it was still the same as when I worked here the last 2.5 years. So I didn't have a need to look at the tables because I already knew what my section was. But because y'all changed the tables and one table switched and I didn't know, I literally did not walk up to the table. They were sitting there for like 3 minutes. But when I went up to the table and tried to talk to them, she intercepted me. And she wouldn't let me do my job. Every single time I was trying to go up to them and try to make sure they was good, she kept on making it seem like I was doing my job wrong. That's annoying. Anybody would get annoyed if somebody kept doing that. Or like, that's annoying. You're not training me. Get away from me. Stay out of my section. I don't like people hovering over me, all of that stuff. When I know what I'm doing, leave me alone. I don't need a teammate to help me. I'm very capable of doing my job. Y'all know it's just some stuff that you just don't need help with. Like, it doesn't take 2 people to take care of a table with 2 people. It just doesn't. The workload is not, it's not there. He was like, oh, okay, like, just relax, like, calm down, it's okay. Like, and he was like telling me to calm down and that it wasn't that serious, but he didn't say anything to her. And I'm just like, bro, I'm one of your top servers in here, and you literally see this woman, she's disrespecting me. She keeps on intervening, and you know that I'm a good server. You know that I'm capable of doing my job. Okay, it was a mistake that was made. It was a miscommunication, but at the same time, I was trying to rectify the situation, and she kept on interrupting me. No, that's not something you do. You intervene when you have to as a manager. You see me walking up to the table. You did not have to walk to the table. You could have turned around and went about your way. Like, okay, somebody's going up to the table. You should not have went up to the table unless it was an issue or they were sitting there for 20 minutes or 15 minutes or 10 minutes, even 8 minutes. Hell, you could have walked over there and intervened in a situation when a manager was needed to be present. You literally walked so fast when she seen me walking over there like she was trying to prove a point and do it on purpose. That's what I was not rocking with. I understand as a manager you want to be there to help solve the problems and stuff, but bro, if you see me already walking over there, don't sit up there and try to get there first before me. So that's why I was mad. And he was like playing it down like I was doing too much and telling me to calm down, and I wasn't rocking with that, because I'm like, bro, I literally been working here for almost 3 years. You and I, we have a personal relationship. I talked to you about stuff. Like, we were close. He was like one of those managers that if you were like really close with him, y'all would talk about personal stuff. He would give you advice, stuff like that. Like, it was like a family. And so I was like, I was kind of like, dang, like, she's new. Like, you don't even know her like that. And you don't sit up here and believe her or not check her, or at least tell her like, hey, I understand that, but that's one of my most experienced servers. Like, I was kind of looking for him to like stand up for me or be like, hey, like, she's good, like, you know, it's fine. So I'm like, bet. So like I said, I had an attitude for the next 1 to 2 hours of my shift. I finally wound up cooling down. At that point, right, like when she kept doing stuff, I literally felt myself like about to slap her. I really felt honestly, I really felt myself about to hit her when I was standing next to her, because I was just looking at her like, bro, I don't need your help. Like, when I tell y'all I was this close to slapping her, I was screaming to the top of my lungs when I went in the back, like, and that's what caused my manager to come out and be like, what is going on? He was like, what are you yelling for? Like, what's going on? I got to the end of my shift. I was kind of glad that that whole thing didn't happen at the end of my shift, because I feel like I would have left on a way worse kind of note. Like, no, you're a manager to manage. Back up. I'm getting irritated just thinking about it. I had some time to think and stuff, and I was just like, you know what? I'm done with this, bro. Like, you couldn't even stick up for me when you seen how disrespectful she was being to me, giving me her little snarky, stanky attitude, doing all this stuff to me, knowing that I'm one of your best servers, and you know how I am as a server, and you're not gonna say nothing. On top of that, I'm like, the kitchen sucks. These girls don't know what they doing. Half of these girls y'all hiring don't know what they doing. I'm like, are y'all serious right now? I'm not finna work here. I'm done. I'm finna quit. I'm not coming here tomorrow. I'm not finna deal with this tomorrow. Nah, bye. Kelly was in the office with him, and I tell him like, hey, he was like,
So he was like, you working tomorrow?
Nope.
I was like, nope. He was like,
What do you mean, no? You're on a schedule.
I was like, I know I'm on a schedule. I'm not coming. And he was like,
What? He's like, why not?
I quit. Like, I'm not working here no more. And he was like,
Well, did you release your shift? Did you find somebody to cover your shift?
I'm like, wow, so you're not even gonna ask me what's wrong first? You wanna know if I got somebody to cover my shift? No, I didn't. I said I didn't release my shift and I didn't get somebody to cover it, but I can and I will. I said I could release it right now. He was like,
Well, what's wrong? Why are you leaving?
and I told him, I said, I can't do this no more. I was like, I'm not making no money here anyway. And I was like, I'm fed up. I was like, I have bills to pay and I need to go work somewhere where I'm making the money that equates to the kind of work that I have to do. I said, so I'm sorry, but I can't come in tomorrow. This will be my last day. And
He's like, well, I feel like that's a good choice to go with where you're making more money. I really wish that you wouldn't be leaving. I'm really upset. Blah blah, that you're doing this way, and da da da. But I wish you the best of luck.
like, he gave me the whole spiel, whatever. So I walked out. I looked at her and I rolled my eyes and I walked out. And I left. And that was my last day working there. And I don't regret it, because if I didn't leave there, I probably wouldn't be where I am at today with my job. And I love where I work now. I work at Top Off. Literally the best company that I have ever worked for. It tops every company that I've ever worked for. I was just really like, I needed to do this. Like, I felt such a weight lift off my shoulders. And I was sad only because I was leaving the people who I had built relationships with and stuff. And then when I would come in there from time to time after that, the general manager, who me and him eventually, we became cool again. But he would like be like stank to me. Like, he was mad that I left. And I'm just like, y'all lucky that happened at the beginning of my shift, because I kind of buttered it up when I was getting ready to leave. But let her have did that at the end of my shift. I would have left out with a bang. But yeah, that was about the time I almost slapped my manager. So stop playing with me, Felicia. So comment down below and let me know what y'all think. Comment down below if you ever had a manager or a coworker who was trying to do your job for you, or who just annoys you so much that you wanted to put hands on them. But yeah, make sure y'all watch out for my other videos. There's going to be plenty more story times about Hooters. I know y'all going to love them. They're really entertaining. As y'all can see in this video, I already brought up like 3 or 4 more story times that I'm going to tell y'all. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Love you guys. See you in my next one.